Magandang araw, mabuhay. I am Kayla, Anie, Zulueta, and I am one of the member of Group 11. And today we are going to discuss to you about the how to build an exercise plan. So, trainers are expensive. The good ones are worth their weight in gold, creating awesome changes in a short period of time. But a dedicated trainer is still beyond most people's budget. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't get the benefit of an intelligent, well-designed program. In this lesson, we will discuss with you how to create an exercise plan program that you can use as a guide to achieving your goals. So, what type of exercise should you do? That is a question. So, there is no single type of exercise that can take care of all your needs. In fact, to get the most benefits from your routine, you want a mix of activities during the course of a week. Otherwise, it's like a diet consisting only of fruit healthful as far as it goes, but lacking a lot of nutrients you will find in other foods such as feeds, fish, vegetables, nuts, and whole grains. So in in America, from the US, developing a balanced exercise plan. Does a balanced exercise plan consist of the physical activity guidelines for them? For the Department of Health and Human Services urge all adults to include the following types of exercise in their weekly routines. So there is 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise per week. For example, 30 minutes on each of 5 days. Or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity, or an equivalent mix of the two. And there is also 2 or more strength training sessions per week with at least 48 hours in between to allow muscles to recover. And last, balance exercise for older adults at risk for falls. If this all sounds overwhelming, remember that workouts can be broken up into smaller segments. For example, 3 10 minutes can get you to your daily goal of 30 minutes of aerobic exercise. Each workout should also include a simple warm up at the beginning and a cool down at the end. So the warm up should consist of gentle exercises such as marching in place to loosen up your muscles and get more oxygen rich blood flowing to them. To cool down, slow your activity and the intensity for 5 to 10 minutes. Then finish off with stretches to help prevent stiffness.
Hi, I'm Ginela Estribor, and I'm going to discuss about strength training, strength or resistance training, which typically employs equipment such as weight machines, pre-weights, or resistance bands or tubing, protects us against bone loss and builds muscle. It also improves your body ratio of lean muscle mass to fat. It too deserves as an important place in your exercise routine. So, strength training is also known as weight training, resistance training, and muscular training. The general definition of strength training is any physical movement in which you use your body weight or equipment. Example of this strength training is dumbbells and resistance bands to build muscle mass, strength, and endurance. So the question is, how much should you do? The physical activity guidelines for American recommend strengthening exercise for all major muscle groups for legs, hips, back, chest, abdomen, shoulders, and arms 2 or more times a week, with at least 48 hours between sessions. One set per session is effective, though 2 or 3 sets may be better, according to some research. Repeat each exercise 8 to 12 times. Your body needs at least 48 hours for recovery and repair between strength training session in order to build more muscle and get stronger. So now I'm gonna give you some tips for safe strength training will help you get the most from your workout. Focus number one tip is focus on form, not weight, and align your body correctly and move smoothly through each exercise. Poor form can prompt injuries. Many experts suggest starting with no weight or very light weight when learning strength training routine. Number two tips is concentrate slow, smooth lift and equally controlled descents while isolating a muscle group. You isolate muscle by holding your body in a specific position while consciously contracting and releasing the targeted muscle. The third tip is tempo. Tempo helps you stay control rather than undercut undercut strength gains through momentum. For example, count to 4 while lifting a dumbbell, hold 2 and then count to 4 while lowering it to the starting position. The next tip is breathe. Blood pressure increases during workout, but it rises even more if you hold your breath while performing strength exercise. To avoid step increases, exhale as you lift, push or pull, inhale as you release. To make sure that you're not holding your breath, count your tempo aloud. You can't hold your breath when you're talking. The next tip is keep challenging muscle. The right weight differs depending on the exercise. Choose a weight that tires the targeted muscle or muscles by the last 2 repetitions, while still allow in in you to maintain good form. If you can't do the minimum number of reps, choose a lighter weight. When it feels too easy, as if you could continue doing reps, challenge your muscle again by adding weight, roughly 1 to 2 pounds for arms, 2 to 5 pounds for legs, or as in gas stronger resistant band. Alternately, you can add another set of reps to your workout or work out additional day per week. If you add weight, remember that you will be able to do the minimum number of reps with good form, and the targeted muscle hold feel tired by the last 2 reps. So now we were going to talk about flexibility. Flexibility is the ability of a joint or series of joints to move through an unrestricted, pain-free range of motion. Although the flexibility varies widely from person to person, minimum ranges are necessary for maintaining joint and total body health. How much should you do? The physical activity guidelines for American present no specific recommendation for making flexibility exercise part of your routine. However, the American College of Sports Medicine recommends that older adults do flexibility exercise on the same day as aerobic or strength activities at least twice a week. When starting a stretching routine, follow these tips for safety. First tips is check with your doctor if you have joint disease or arthritis, or if you had a joint replacement, check with your doctor before starting stretching exercise. Warm up first. Warm up muscle are more flexible. Warm up for 5 to 10 minutes first, or stretching for your cool down routine after exercising. Stretch all muscle groups. Just as with stretch training, stretching should include all muscle groups. No bouncing. Never bounce as you stretch. This triggers a contracting reflex that actually tightens the muscle you're trying to loosen. Feel mild tension only. Extend your muscle to the point where you feel mild, mild tension, and hold that position. You should not very feel pain. Breath. Breathe easily through your nose while stretching, hold, and repeat. The best result comes from holding a stretch for 10 to 13 seconds and repeating stretch to 6 times for a total of 1 minute. That's all, thank you.
Balance exercises. Our sense of balance typically worsens as we age. It can be further compromised by medical conditions like neuropathy, a complication of diabetes, or certain chemotherapy drugs that can cause tingling, pain, and numbness in the feet. Side effects from other medications, uncorrectedly vision problems, or a lack of flexibility. Poor balance often leads to falls, which can cause head injuries and temporarily or permanently disabling injuries to the bones and nervous system. Hip fractures, particularly, can lead to serious health complications and can impair independence. Older adults at risk for falls can benefit from a combination of walking, strength training, and balance exercise. Balance enhancing activities include Tai Chi, yoga, and pilates. Strength training exercises that work core muscles in your abdomen and back also help with balance. So, how much should you do? For older adults at risk falls, the guidelines recommend 30 minutes of balance training and muscle strengthening exercises 3 times a week, plus at least 30 minutes of walking activities twice or more weekly.
I am going to talk about aerobic exercises. So let's begin by understanding the exact meaning of aerobic exercises. So it's often called cardio endurance activities. Aerobic exercises are great for burning calories and paring down unwanted fats. They consist of activities that make the heart and lungs work harder. It would be walking, biking, running, and also swimming. Aerobic exercise temporarily boosts your heart rate and breathing, allowing more oxygen to reach your muscle and turning up cardiovascular endurance. The main focus of aerobic exercises that I mentioned are improving the strength of your cardiorespiratory system, which means that the focus is on improving your stamina and endurance. Aerobic exercise also makes sure that your respiratory muscles are strong enough to allow the proper breathing, inhalation, and exhalation. It also proper breathing improves strength of your heart muscles so that it would be efficient pumping reaction that happens in our heart as well. So these are the activities that are associated with lower risk for many diseases and longer lifespan. How much should you do aerobic exercises? The physical activity guidelines for American recommended accumulating a weekly total of at least 2.5 hours for moderate aerobic activities, or 1/2 and 15 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity. Walking is usually safe for the people of any age or level of fitness. It can be adjusted to a comfortable speed. It doesn't jar joints or raise your heart rate to dangerous levels. So for a greater challenge, you can add time, distance, or hills to improve endurance to use resistance bands to tone while you walk. So, so these are the tips for get the best walk for walking. For a safe place to walk, the second one is buy a good pair of shoes. The third one is dress for comfort and safety. And the lastly is do a 5 minutes warm up and cool down before starting a walking activities. So as you can see, those are the methods or the techniques to practice good fitness program.